Hi, welcome to the Hanya Show. This is the second episode of the Hanya Show, and today my longtime family friend, visible Muslim, fully covered West Indian, born in Trinidad, to parents of East Indian descent, mother of six who have been working and living in the GTA, Greater Toronto area for over 25 years, will join the Hanya Show. Welcome, Nisha.
Thank you, Hanya. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. It's so good to have you on the show today. And we have a lot of things that we're going to talk about to do with a lot of the things in the news. So my first question is, you've been living in Toronto for a very long time. What is your opinion on racism in Toronto?
Yep, I've been living here for quite a while. I came here when I was 18, and I remember the first racism that I encountered was on the bus. I was going to school. I was coming back from school from college actually, and a guy he spat on my hand and he called me a Paki. And I wasn't a Paki, but I guess because I'm the same skin color. So luckily I was wearing gloves because it was winter, and it really grossed me out that someone would do something like that because you don't do that to people. But yeah, that was the first act of racism. And I think racism stems from people who are not educated. Like you find mostly people who are not educated do things like that.
Yeah, that is just that's a very strange encounter on the bus that they just start calling. That's just like a label then.
Right? Just by the way you look, they don't know who you are and they just assume things about you.
Yeah. Moving on to my next question. Due to the current news, Muslims have been affected by racism in different forms. What is your opinion on racism faced by Muslims? Because there's been a lot going on in the news. There's been, I think, the Israel-Palestine conflict. There's been something in Edmonton I recently read on the news. Muslim woman, she was grabbed by an ex. She's in her 50s. And then there was also the thing with the family in London. Like some of those encounters. What is your opinion?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to send my condolences to the family in London, the Afzal family, and really pray for the little boy Faiz to have a full recovery, both emotionally and physically. I find that in the news, whenever there's conflict in the news, whenever there's reporting, mostly regarding Muslims, there's a lot of negative backlash that comes out, and the London story, it's just one of the stories that's been happening so far lately in Canada. Like we also know
there's so much Islamophobia things coming up recently. It's like even when I think about walking to Tim Hortons now, I'm like thinking I should wait for a while then walk to Tim Hortons, because usually I like to walk there like once a week or maybe once in 2 weeks and grab some coffee there and get some more work done. But maybe I have to wait due to all
I think we shouldn't be scared because we're not doing anything wrong. We're citizens of Canada too. We have every right to be here. So we shouldn't be scared of people trying to hurt us or anything like that. And I really think it's up to the government, up to the people in authority to lay stricter laws against people who commit crimes like these, so that it'll stop people from wanting to do it or making it so easy for people to do. Like I was reading a story about the girl in Kingston, Jenna, I believe her name is. So she was at Canadian Tire with her mom, and there was a 45-year-old white woman who was saying racial slurs to her and her mom. And I'm really happy to see that the police are taking it seriously and they actually laid hate charges against her. So I think when people have to face consequences, then they'll stop doing things like this, because it's getting really bad now. Like we saw the killings in Montreal in the masjid shooting, and we saw, the stabbing in IMO, and now the family in London. And he just targeted them because they were wearing a certain kind of clothes, which is most people from that subcontinent, they wear that kind of clothes.
Yeah, so it's like that's a traditional dress. Like also there's different variations like lehenga and all these things. But it's just like it's based on the clothes, and that's just like that's only one thing in there, and that's just like wrong. And moving on to my next question, so there's a lot of ignorance and intolerance. What if the family that was Nithil Weltman was killed and were not even Muslim? So what is your opinion on that?
If the family that Nathaniel Weltman killed, what if they were not even Muslim? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really happy. Like I see the Sikh community really, really rallying with us because we all look the same, and so I'm glad that in a way this incident has brought people closer together from all walks of life. And what if they were not even Muslim? Like I think uh, you know racism is racism, or it doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you belong to, and a life is a life. And even if they weren't Muslim, it would still be the loss of life. And I'd still want to do something about it. I'd still want him to be punished. It doesn't matter whether somebody is Muslim or not. The punishment should be the same if a crime is committed against someone.
Because people are dying because of that.
Yeah.
And you told me earlier that there is this hold on. There is this event going on from the Muslim Association of Canada,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna share that it's to take action against Islamophobia. And also I recently got to know that there might be something at the National Summit that Trudeau might be doing. So looking more into it, that people are saying something for Canadian elections. So you were saying that this is recently came up. And what is this event about?
So this national call for action against Islamophobia, it's just it's a rally that's being taken place in different parts of GTA, I think, today. So I think if you scroll down
Yeah.
on your screen, it'll show all the locations. So it's
Okay, it's not showing up on mine. I can't scroll down, but I did read it that you said that okay, it's right here. That it will be taking place in Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Quebec, Nova Scotia, all those places.
yeah. So it's all happening today, and it's happening in different parts of the country, and it's all for the same thing.
Right
Yep,
here,
there you go.
Celebration Square, everywhere. Yeah, so that's great that people are joining in and taking action on this, because this has been going for such a long time now.
Yeah. No, we need to take action before something. I mean, we don't want to see this happening every day or every other day. We have to put our foot down at some point in time, right? And I think now is the time. There's no sooner time than now.
True. And my next question is, what are your fears of being a Muslim in Toronto? Because there's been so much going on.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't fear death. So if someone thinks that by killing me, they're making me, or threatening to kill me, they're scaring me. No, because we all have to die one day. But my fear is, like, people are gonna start thinking, oh, we shouldn't be identifiable Muslim, or they are gonna want to change their religion or something like that, just because of what is going on. And then I have 4 daughters, and they all wear hijab. And the other day, my daughters went for a walk, and they didn't come back until after sunset. And I was scared, because in my mind I was thinking, what if somebody targeted them? What if somebody did something to them because they're wearing hijab? And so I was just about to run out to go find them, and thankfully they came home the same time I was about to leave. So
now it's like, I remember when I was a kid, it was also something about walking on the sidewalks and something that's dangerous. It looks like that thing again, the way we see it.
yeah.
So I guess we have to be careful.
Yeah.
Like luckily, for some students, I know that they're studying from home. So when all this is going on, at least they don't have to walk outside, because then I feel like then anytime they could be victimized too, right? So it's a good way that we have online learning in this case. But overall, like apart from school, like outside of that, there's just like people targeting anyone the way they see it.
Yeah. No, it's really sad that people have to resort to this kind of behavior. Just why? Like, I don't understand why. I think maybe it's on our part. What we can do is be more open to people who are not Muslim. Like, maybe our neighbors who are not Muslim, we can talk to them and just show a good example, like a real example of what a Muslim is. So they can go and tell their friends that I know a Muslim, and they're not bad, and they're not what the media says they are.
True.
Or maybe, like, even the government, they need to do more due diligence.
Because right now on Instagram, like, I see so many programs for people of color, but it's like what I've noticed, even when you go into a program that sees people of color, people are still going to be rude just because you're the only South Asian in there, you're the only Muslim in there. Like I've noticed that. I've actually experienced that once or twice in a few programs too. Like it wasn't serious, but still, in that case, it's like you're being the only alienated person in there, even if it is people of color. Like that's something I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you like to share your social media handles?
I don't really have any, but if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can use your handles and you can forward the messages to me.
I
Or
will.
yeah.
And thank you, Anisha, so much for coming on to the Hania show. Watch and subscribe Hania Travels, and look and keep an eye out for the next episode of the Hania show. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.